Welcome to Strong and Stable Core. Today we'll work to tone our core and more importantly focus on activating the parts of our bodies that allow for stability in our everyday lives. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin today's practice in a nice wide child's pose. So come on down to your mat. Bring your toes together to touch behind you, knees out about as wide as your mat. Sink on back down into your hips. And walk your hands forward, allowing your chest and your head to drop down to the mat or a block if you need it. Just take a few moments to settle in here. Slow down the breath and tune into the body. You're already here on the mat. You've made the decision to take some time for yourself, so go ahead and tune into the body and try to tune the external distractions off for a little bit. Really allow your tailbone to sink down towards your heels, stretching towards the back of your mat. Belly fills completely on an inhale, and exhale to fully empty. You can lift, kind of engage your arms, lift your elbows off the mat a little bit, feel a deeper stretch through the upper arms, down into the armpit, a little bit of chest area there. Relax your jaw. Walk our hands over to the right side of our mat. Starting to feel a gentle stretch through the left side body, starting from that left hip. Starting to stretch out our torso and core as we prepare to work that a little bit today. Just breathe in deeply, feeling that stretch all along that left side body. And walk our hands over to the right side of the mat. Or the left side of the mat, I'm sorry, and feel the stretch on the right side body. You may notice differences in your right and left sides. Just become aware of them. Take some extra time and a stretch if you need to. Or find a position that works in your body today. And we'll come on back to center. Begin to lift the head and chest off the mat, coming into tabletop. Make sure we're all stacked here, knees below the hips, shoulders stacked directly above the wrists. And even here in a tabletop, really begin to engage that core. Feel the kind of the rib cage pulling in towards the midline, that center line down your body here. And notice that engagement, what that feels like throughout your body. And on an inhale, drop your belly, coming into cow. Chest opens forward, tailbone shines up towards the sky. And then on your exhale, move into cat. doming around the spine, pushing up through the shoulder blades. Crown of the head drops towards the mat. Inhale, come back to cow. Do a few cycles of cat-cow, moving with your own breath. And as you exhale on cat, really feel that core pulling in towards your center. And when you inhale, filling, drop the belly, let that stretch. Do one more cycle of cat-cow. Before coming back to tabletop. Again, let's set up this nice, strong tabletop, really pulling those low ribs in towards the center. And we'll begin to lift our right leg, keeping that knee kind of at a 90-degree angle, sort of fire hydrant type of pose. And we're going to do some hip rotations here. So we're trying to keep our hip points facing down towards the mat. We're just doing some gentle opening here, but you can really feel that kind of lighting up the core. Do a few rotations in one direction and then reverse. Keep the breath nice and long. Slow, controlled movements. Drop that right knee. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So shift ever so slightly, shift your weight over to the right side, but try to press evenly into both hands. Lifting that left knee up in the fire hydrant and start your circles here. Circles can be as big or as small as your body needs them to be today. Just keep the movement controlled. Don't hold your breath. I like to do kind of an inhale to the halfway point and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Don't forget to reverse if you haven't done that already. And drop that knee back down. Great. Curl the toes under. We'll lift those hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. And warm up your dog here a little bit. Walk it out. Bend both knees. Whatever you need to do to feel comfortable in this posture. Again, your core is really supporting you in this posture as well. So be aware of that engagement there. Pull that belly button in towards the spine. Take a little pressure out of your wrists by really pressing into your fingertips, specifically the pointer and the thumb. That'll really help to alleviate some of that pressure. On your next inhale, anchor through your left foot. Lift your right foot up high. Step that right foot up between your hands, coming into a lunge. Come on up to your fingertips. Open that chest up towards the front of your mat. Make sure you take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, fire up that core as we prepare to stand up into Warrior Two. Pivot on that back foot, taking up space. Really sweep those arms up and around, opening up to our Warrior Two. Keep that bend in your front knee. Really stack your hips, heart, and head all together. Arms are stretching out, pulling back. Shoulder blades pull together. Nice and tall here. Rotate that front palm, reach it up and back, reversing our warrior. Inhale, and on your exhale, cartwheel your hands coming down to the mat. Pivot on that back foot. Bring the left hand palm down to the mat and twist up and to the right. Gaze can be up towards the sky, past your right fingertips. And exhale, release your hand to the mat, stepping back to plank. Keep your plank nice and strong here, and we're going to tick-tock our heels side to side. So keep breathing here. Really lighten that fire in the core, the obliques. You should feel those working now. Really firing that up. Keep breathing. Don't forget to do that. One more on each side. Come back to center. Lift your hips up and back, coming into downward dog. Excellent work. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. On your next inhale, anchor through your right foot. Lift your left foot up high. Step that up to your hands. Coming into your lunge on this side. Again, open that chest. Come into those, step up onto those fingertips. Breathe in and out. We'll pivot on that back foot. Engage that core, lift that belly, taking up space with those arms, stretching out, coming up to our warrior two, our strong warrior posture. Keep that front knee pointed straight forward rather than collapsing in. Rotate that front palm, reach it up and back, reversing your warrior. That stretch in that side body here. Our strong core is holding us up here. And we'll exhale as we cartwheel the hands back down to the mat, pivot on that back foot, bringing the right hand flat to the mat, twisting up into the left. Keep that back heel spiking towards the back edge of your mat. And release. Stepping back to our strong plank. So we can do our tick-tock one more time. Side to side with those heels. Keep pushing up between those shoulder blades. Keep breathing. One more. And lift those hips up and back for down dog. Nice work. Let's take a deep breath in here. And just let it all go. Okay. On your next inhale, you can walk or step or hop your way to the top of your mat. Coming into a nice forward fold. Bend those knees as much as you need to. Keep those feet together or hips width distance apart. Great. And inhale, come up to halfway. Nice flat back position. Exhale, folding deep. Inhale, lifting up to a chair pose. So those hands can be kind of out in front of you, acting as a counterbalance. They don't have to be cranked up really high here. Hold that chair pose, weight in your heels. Again, your core is helping you here. One more cycle of breath. Inhale and exhale, release to your forward fold. Let it all go. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold deep. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, coming all the way to standing. Hands come to heart center. Breath in. And a breath out. I'm going to turn to my side here. Coming into a mountain pose, we're going to do a single leg balance here with some leg extension. Working on some balance, some core work. So ever so slightly, let's actually shift your weight to your left foot. Your hands can come to your hips or out to a T, wherever you feel more stable. And we're going to begin to lift your right foot about an inch off the floor. And we're just going to do some leg lifts here, essentially. So we'll start with the back. These will be a pretty small range of motion. Side, center, front, center. So you can really feel your core engaging during this, and we're also working to build some strength and flexibility in those muscles that are supporting our hips as well. So we'll do a few rounds of this to the back, side, front. You can set your foot down whenever you need to, but if you don't need to, go ahead and work your balance extra hard by maintaining just that connection with the left foot on the mat. Back, center, side. Your upper body stays as still as possible. Keep a micro bend in that standing leg. Do one more round. Back, center, front, together. Excellent work. Shake that out a little bit, walk it out. We'll take a nice big step towards the bottom of our mat. Let's take a nice wide stance here, toes pointed straight forward or even just a little bit inward. You can bring your hands out to a T here. I like to check my alignment, kind of make sure that my wrists and ankles are about in line. That's kind of where you want to have your, how wide you want your legs, or whatever's comfortable for you too. Take a nice inhale, little back bend up towards the sky here, and then we'll release, hinging at the hips. So you can put your hands here, your fingers kind of at your hip creases, and really feel that hinging action starting from your hips. Keep a bend in those knees. Come forward, keeping that flat back. Then you can bring your hands down to the mat. Core is still engaged here, and you can release down. Release the weight of the head forward, coming into this nice wide-legged forward fold. Couple of deep breaths here. Feel the stretch through the hamstrings. Little release in the low back. On an inhale, come on back to a flat back position. Bring your hands to your hips. Again, make sure you've got a bend in your knees. You don't want to lock those out. Your core is really fired up here, holding you in this position. And then we'll just slowly bring ourselves back up to standing. Nice. Step back. Step your feet together towards the back of your mat, and we'll repeat our leg lifts on this side. So shift your weight to foot. Again, hands can be on your hips or out to a T, wherever you feel most stable. And we'll begin our leg lifts to the back. So shift the weight to the right, lift that left foot about an inch off the ground. I was going to say foot, not a foot off the ground, an inch off the ground, and give yourself enough clearance, and bring that foot back, center, to the side, center, front, center. And we'll repeat that a few more times. Back. Remember to breathe. These should be slow, controlled motions. No swinging, no momentum. Just really engage those muscles, focusing in on them, of an attention that they deserve. Let's do one more round. Back, front. Great. Release. Knock those knees back and forth a little bit. Wiggle that out, and we'll take another big step over towards the top of our mat. We're going to do another variation of a wide-legged forward fold here. So again, toes pointed forward or slightly inward. Hands come to the hip creases, and let's fold again forward. Stopping at this flat back position, really feel that length through the spine, the stretch in the hamstrings here, and then release all the way down to the mat. And this time we'll shift over to the left side, walk your hands over to the left, and find whatever works for you here, whatever your body needs. If it's bending a knee, or hanging out on one side for a little bit before walking over to the other, or moving on your breath, walking back and forth. Just listen to your body, do some exploration. See what feels good to you today. Okay, come back to center. Get up nice and tall on our fingertips, kind of coming into this sort of halfway lift type of position, so nice flat back rather than rounded. Inhale, and we'll exhale. You can bring your hips or hands to your hips and slowly come on back up to standing. Great. Step all the way back up to the top of our mat, coming into a nice mountain pose here. Bring your feet together or hips width distance apart, whatever is most comfortable for you. Nice strong mountain pose, palms face forward. Find a little bend or bounce in your knees. Sweep your hands up and overhead. Little back bend here if you've got it. And exhale as you float your hands down, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Really feel that extension. Your core holding you up in this position. And exhale as we step one foot back, then the other, coming into our plank. We'll do one more set of our tick-tocks. So tick-tock those heels back and forth, side to side. You got it. Really firing that up. Feel that strength emanating from your core. Keep breathing. One more on each side should do it. And back to plank. Excellent. Bring those knees down to the mat. Cross your feet behind you, and we'll come on down to our backs. Here we'll set up for a bridge pose with a little bit of a variation here too. So bring your heels or your feet flat on the mat, your heels kind of right up as close to you as you can get them. This time we're going to add some arm movement in with our bridge pose. So your hands will be palms down on the mat. You can lift up into your bridge. And as we lift, we'll bring our hands up and overhead as far as they go. They may touch the floor, they may not, depending on how your shoulder mobility is. So we're just going to move on the breath. You can either stay up in this bridge pose, inhaling as your arms come up overhead, exhaling as they come back, or you can lift and lower into and out of the bridge. Inhale, you're up in the bridge, arms up and overhead, and exhale, return down to the mat just for a second, and inhale, back up. Exhale, touch down on the mat. Inhale, back up. Or again, keep those hips lifted, really engage the glutes. And keep that nice, slow, purposeful movement of the arms, moving on your breath. I'll do one more. Exhale and release everything down. Bring those knees to touch in the center. Release that low back a little bit. Should feel good. Hug your knees up into your chest. And bring your forehead to your knees, coming into this little hedgehog kind of posture. And release your feet down to the edges of your mat. On the outside edges, we'll do a little windshield wiper kind of twist here. So drop both knees over to the left side. Gaze can come to the right. You feel that stretch through the right side body, right hip flexor down the quad. Arms can be out to a T or a goalpost kind of position here. A couple of deep breaths here. Inhale back through center and drop your knees over to the right side. Gaze can come to the left. Again, you should feel this through the left rib cage, all the way through the left torso. down into kind of the hip flexor and your quadricep on your left side. One more deep breath in and out. And exhale as we release back to center. Stretch out nice and long. Do a nice full body stretch. So hands come up over your head, toes pointed, reaching. Nice full body stretch. And release. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale as you stretch out in both directions. And release. Last one. And release. Coming into a nice Shavasana here. So we're already on our backs. You can spread your legs a little bit farther, let your toes fall out to the sides. Palms face up towards the ceiling. Snuggle your shoulder blades together underneath you. Feel the support of your yoga mat, of the floor, of the earth beneath you. I'd like you to pause and take a deep breath. Really feel your body connect with the ground underneath you. You can even take your hands to your belly and really feel your belly filling with air as you breathe in and relaxing as you exhale. If you haven't already and you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And keep breathing deeply. Take this time to relax through your entire body. Every time you exhale, try to extend that and allow your body to let go even further. Relax your jaw, your tongue, your forehead. Everything is heavy. Thank you for taking the time and energy to share your practice with me today. I encourage you to stay here in Shavasana as long as time allows. But if you need to get going, you can close our practice here and bring your hands together, thumb knuckles to your forehead. We'll inhale together. A nice, big, deep inhale. And exhale. Take good care. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.